And it's that time again for week 6 to start today on Thursday. Let's look at how we did in week 5. This was a boring game. It got to the point where I wish the refs got involved. That's how bad this game was. No touchdown score, not even not on the ground, not in the air, not defensively, even though I kind of wish that happened. Not as a special teams return, even though I wish that happened. Russell Wilson and Matt Ryan, 2 interceptions each, combined sack total of 10. It was just like, someone score. Please, someone score a touchdown. Let's put this game away. But no, it went to overtime. Broncos fans were leaving before overtime even started. And then Russell Wilson misses a game-winning touchdown pass when on 4th down because, he had it in his mind. He's going to this receiver. And I don't know. Again, this is another week in the season where I didn't pick the Colts and they won. I'm seeing a pattern here. The Giants upset the Packers in London. This was surprising, but when you look back at it, the Packers stopped running the ball and it was just like they put it all on Aaron Rodgers. The Giants are 4-1. What is this season? The Bills absolutely destroyed the Steelers, and I look at it and I think back to when the Ravens played the Bills, and if it wasn't an interception at the in the end zone late in the fourth quarter, would that 98-yard touchdown pass have happened to the Ravens? Who knows? But yeah, the Steelers, they're just not the same without T.J. Watt defensively. It's like you lose one player, you have no pass rush. Kenny Pickett was in there for his full game. I mean, yeah, he put up yards and stuff, but yards are empty if you don't score. I'll be fine if you throw for 150 yards and you got 5 touchdowns. But I don't know how many yards he had. But yards mean nothing if you don't score. The Chargers almost screwed this up. Once again, the coach for the Chargers is going to have them on the outside looking in at the end of the season. I have that feeling that's going to happen. They're going to be in a win or in your in situation at the end of the season. And because of his coaching mistakes during the middle of the season, they're going to miss the playoffs at the end. I would not be surprised. The Browns almost won this game, but the kicker missed it just to the right. I can't be a Chargers. I couldn't be. The Vikings beat the Bears. I look at this one and it was like the Bears were on their way down to, I think, would have gone. Who knows? They could have got a game-winning touchdown, but the receiver decides to fight for more yards and he gets robbed. He got mugged. He slipped the defender, kept going down the field. That same defender came back and like, give me that ball, and went the other way. But yeah, that was a game. In this game, I don't know what happened to the Lions on this one. One of the highest scoring offenses in the past 4 weeks gets shut out and lose to a rookie quarterback. A third string quarterback at that. I'm disappointed. I'm disgusted. This was a good high scoring game. But the Seahawks rush defense, man, you let Taysom Hill run all over you. But here's my thing, Geno Smith, man, he playing all right. He's the lone tier 5 quarterback at the start of the season. And I think he's moved himself up to tier 3. he'll have his off games, but so far this season he's been showing like he can do it. And the Saints are still in it, so that's a game. The Dolphins lose their second straight to the Jets. And, it's kind of weird how they took Teddy Bridgewater out. I mean, he said he was fine. I know, and I think the league is getting revenge on the Dolphins because they let Tua play in a Thursday night game against the Bengals. And it's like, look, this is your punishment. Your second string quarterback, we're taking him out too. Sauce Gardner got his first interception. So that's great. And the Jets are 3-2. What is up with this season? The Buccaneers got away with one. The Falcons were robbed. What is roughing the passer? And why is it that you don't call roughing the passer until the game is pretty much on the line? I think the Falcons should have won this game. And yeah, I've been all right with that, losing this one. But for you to have a roughing the passer penalty on a clean sack, that's not right. The Falcons got robbed. The Titans got away with one because Carson Wentz decides he wants to throw 3 interceptions in a row before the game is over. Yeah, 2 of them didn't count. One was caught out of bounds, one was broken up. But the third one, he's like, you got to let your receiver clear to get into the end zone because he has a defender on him and one's playing underneath. Let him clear first. You had time. But yeah. Commanders are 1-4. The Titans got away with 3-2. The Jags, man. The 1 week I don't pick the Texans. The 1 week I don't pick the Texans and they win the game. What happened, Jacksonville? It was a dry game this time. And, I can't believe it when I saw that. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. The Texans won when I didn't pick them? Awesome. The 49ers, look, the Panthers aren't going to win nothing. Yeah, they fired their coach and Baker Mayfield is hurt, but they're not going to win nothing. I'm trying to figure out who they beat. Who did they beat? Was it a week 1 game? No, they lost to the Browns. So week 2, who did they beat? No, it wasn't the Giants. It wasn't the Saints. Wait, they won last week? No, week 4. No. Wait, who they beat? Says they won a game. Oh well. I can't find it. I'll find it. It was the Saints in week 3. But they're not going to win any other games. The Cowboys, man. First off, Cowboys defense is legit like that. Especially with Michael Parsons. Cooper Rush is doing his thing. Relying on the defense. Relying on the run game. Moving the ball down the field. Not turning it over. Cowboys are in good hands with Cooper Rush. Whether Dak comes back or not, that's another story. But for now, I'd say for the time being, Cooper Rush stays. The Rams, I think they are paying for their sins with their first round draft picks. They bought themselves a ring. And, yeah, they're not looking too hot. The Eagles slip away as the last undefeated team once again. A little touch and go with this Cardinals team. I think Kyler Murray, even though, Kyler Murray did slide a yard short and then he spiked it on 3rd down, I still think it was within good range for the kicker. Whether he was rushed or not, but then this kicker, he didn't have a good showing on. I think because he was picked up. I think he was on another team the week before. But All right, Eagles, do your thing. Bengals fan base went silent after this game. They're trying to cope, saying they were missing T. Higgins and a couple other players, and I'm like, that's nothing compared to what the Ravens were missing last year, the first and second time. They want to say this was the Ravens Super Bowl, and it was like, your Super Bowl was getting by the Ravens, sweeping them last season. But you see what happens when you have, a great secondary versus guys that are coming up from the third string in the practice squad. Marcus Peters made a huge difference. I wish he got a pick six in that first quarter when I think it was Calais Campbell or somebody. They hit Burrow. He threw a weak pass to the outside, and if Peters had one extra step, he's taking that to the house. The MT Bank Stadium would have been on fire. You can say all the coaching and all that all you want, but then now this counter with Lamar Jackson was having an off game, and if he connects with some of those passes, it's not even close. But yeah, it's good that the defense for the Ravens stepped up. Burrow had less than 250 yards passing, and he had that interception. Patrick Queen even got it. And then there's this game. Okay. The roughing the passer call on Carr was messed up. The lack of penalties being called against the Chiefs was worse. There are far too many holding penalties that were called or not called in this game. But another thing that stands out to me was the decision to go for two instead of tying up the game with 4 minutes left. If you're down, you get the surefire point. The Chiefs went for two because they wanted to make it a two-score game. They were fine even if they didn't get it. It's like, look, we get 2 points, we're up 2 scores. If we don't get it, they can still score a touchdown, an extra point, and be tied. But the coach for the Raiders is like, nah, we're down 1 point, let's go for 2. No, not in that situation. Not against the Chiefs. You get the points, you tie the game. Then you put it on your defense. Yo, give me a stop. You get a stop, you get the ball, field goal range. I still think Davante Adams got that catch. He had it in his left hand. Because they say he would use his right hand to secure it, that makes it seem like a bobble. I don't agree with that because we've seen one-handed catches. I just don't see the ball move. And then there's this whole mess of Davante Adams afterwards, and people are blowing it out of proportion. Just find Davante Adams and let's move on. Weak cameraman. Week 6. Tonight we have the Commanders versus the Bears. I don't know what to pick. I honestly don't know what to pick. Commanders have their issues, and the Bears have their issues. I wish I could coin flip. I'll go Chicago. 49ers and the Falcons. 49ers look strong. Sorry for you Falcons, but I don't think it's going to work out for y'all. Yeah, the Patriots and the Browns. Honestly speaking, I don't think Zappe does what he does to the Lions like he did to the Browns. That defense, especially that pass rush, is going to get to him. And, the Browns still got a strong run game. So I'm going with the Browns on this one. The Jets and the Packers. I want to go against the Packers on this one, especially since they lost. But you're going to Lambeau. I don't know. I'll go with the Jets because the receiving core for the Packers is still a little iffy, and that Jets secondary is doing some work. Zach Wilson is playing a good game. I'll go with the Jets. And then there's this game. Jacksonville embarrassingly lost to Texas last week. The Colts have no offense. But if I pick the Colts, Jacksonville's going to destroy them. They're getting their running backs back, though, the Colts. But Matt Ryan hasn't shown me nothing. So I'll go with the Jaguars. The Vikings and the Dolphins. Until Tua is back, it's going to be the Vikings. Dolphins I don't think are going to be that good until Tua gets back. Even if Teddy Bridgewater plays. Kirk Cousins, he's like I've been saying, as long as he doesn't play Monday nights, he's good. The Bengals versus the Saints. A lot of people are making this to be a whole LSU return thing, and it's like, my guys, he's not going back to LSU. He's in the NFL, Burrow and Chase. I'm going to go with the Saints. Yeah, Chris Olave is out with the concussion protocol, but if they could do what they did to the Seahawks, which is, it's not really saying much because the Seahawks and how they were, but it was a great game. You replicate what Taysom Hill did, and the Bengals let Lamar Jackson move down the field on the ground and get that game-winning field goal. They'll probably change up their offensive play calling now and rely on Mixon, who I think has a tell. But I believe the Saints can pull this one out. You know who I'm going with. I'm always going to pick the Ravens no matter what. It just feels weird seeing that the Giants have a better record than the Ravens. But the Giants have been playing all right. And then I remember that Wink Martindale used to be defensive coordinator for the Ravens. But I also remember Wink Martindale putting in our defense in bad situations against high passing offenses. One of my coworkers talking about it's gonna be Lamar Jackson versus the white Lamar Jackson. In any case, I think the Ravens get this one. And then hopefully everyone comes out of that game healthy because we're playing at MetLife Stadium. Both teams just come back good, please, because that stadium turf is messed up. The Buccaneers are going to beat the Steelers. Let's just face facts. Without TJ Watt, Tom Brady's going to be fine. He doesn't have to cry for a flag. And Kenny Pickett, I don't know if he's going to be able to keep up. We'll see what happens. But I highly doubt that the league will allow Pickett to beat Brady. They're going to want the Buccaneers to stay relevant as much as possible. The Rams are going to get this, and they damn well better. Because if they allow the Panthers to beat them, I don't think they bounce back. Baker Mayfield is out. Sam Darnold is out, as far as this recording is concerned. The Panthers look like they're going into rebuild mode. You need to bounce back. This is a trap game. So the Rams better treat this like it is one. Treat it seriously. Come out with a win. Because the 49ers are being strong. The Cardinals are fixing themselves up. And the Seahawks, you can't count them out. Speaking of the Cardinals and the Seahawks, this is going to be an interesting game. It might become close, but I'm going to give the edge to the Cardinals on this one. Geno Smith has been playing a great game. But I think Kyler will turn it around. Then we have what should be a primetime game. The Bills versus the Chiefs. I wish we could flex. I wish we could flex. because this is pretty much the game of the day. But the Bills look like the solid pick. We'll see how it goes when that game comes around. But here comes the Sunday night game, the Cowboys and the Eagles. This is the game of the unstoppable, immovable object versus the unstoppable force. I think the Eagles will get this one. But it might be a close game. Put last season behind you. Because if the Cowboys win, they're gonna be insufferable for the fans. And then we have the Broncos in primetime again. Someone in the league thought Russell Wilson was gonna go off. That person needs to be shot into the sun. The Broncos offense hasn't shown a spark of life in 5 weeks. They're gonna lose. And it's gonna be one of those Monday nights that I'll probably fall asleep to. If he gets to halftime and the Chargers are winning by 3 or 4 scores, I'm turning the game off. And I'll look at highlights the next day. Because I ain't watching that. But those are my picks. We have, oh wait. 50. I'm going to do 50 again. Those are my picks. We have, I think, the Titans, the Lions, and 2 other teams that I don't know. The bye week. I'm locked in.